Hey everybody, and welcome to the deep dive. We're going microscopic today, going on a journey into the fascinating world of microbes. You know, all those teeny tiny creatures we can't even see,
Yeah, they're everywhere.
but we can't see them.
That's right. It's funny, we often search for new life in these really far off places. You think about the jungle or the depths of the ocean.
Right.
But there's so much life just teeming right under our noses.
Yeah. Even something as simple as a flower pot.
Exactly. A flower pot, a nearby lake.
Yeah.
Just incredible amounts of undiscovered life.
And it's mind-blowing to think that scientists estimate that 99% of the estimated 1 million bacteria species are not even scientifically described yet.
That's right.
So there's a lot to discover.
A lot out there we don't know.
Yeah, so for this deep dive, we've got excerpts from a bunch of different sources. So we've got books, scientific articles, even a blog post,
Wow.
all kind of giving us different perspectives on this hidden world.
I love it. I'm excited to jump in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was immediately drawn to this book, Exploring the Hidden World of Microbes by Alex Lintner.
Okay.
And it's actually a curriculum for farmers,
Interesting.
kind of helping them see the importance of microbes in agriculture. And Lintner uses this really cool phrase about farmers becoming shepherds of a wondrous herd of microbes.
That's a great phrase.
Yeah.
It's really striking.
And it really highlights this shift in thinking that we need to have about soil. You know, it's not just dirt. It's this vibrant, living
The
ecosystem
ecosystem right under our feet.
full of microbial life that needs to be cared for just like we would care for any other herd.
Yeah, it's a really cool analogy, I think.
And it got me thinking, you know, this idea of being a microbe shepherd
Yeah.
isn't just for farmers. Like anyone who has a garden or even just a house plant.
Sure.
You're interacting with this microscopic world.
Yeah, you are a shepherd in your own right at that point.
Right. Whether we realize it or not.
Exactly.
And so understanding these microbes is really crucial for anyone who wants to grow things, no
Definitely.
matter the scale. Now let's zoom in even further.
Okay.
There's this blog post by Usama bin Tariq Qureshi called The Hidden World of Microorganisms. And he blew my mind with this fact. A single drop of water.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine a raindrop
Huh?
or a pinch of soil can contain millions of different microbial species.
Millions.
Millions.
That's why.
That's more people than live in some countries.
I know, it's crazy, right?
It's really hard to grasp that scale of microbial diversity.
It is.
And it makes you realize how interconnected everything is.
It really does, yeah.
Qureshi also explains that bacteria are essential because they're nature's recyclers. So they're basically taking out the trash.
Taking out the trash, yeah. They break down dead plants and animals' waste products, and they're turning them back into useful nutrients that other organisms can use.
Okay.
So they're like the ultimate composters.
So they're making sure that the cycle of life can keep going.
Exactly. Yeah, they're essential for that.
So it's like a giant invisible cleanup crew that's constantly working to keep our planet healthy.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
And think about what would happen if they suddenly stopped.
Oh,
Like if all the bacteria just disappeared,
oh, that would be bad.
what would happen?
Well, dead leaves, trees, animals would just pile up,
Right.
and all those valuable nutrients they contain would be locked away,
Okay.
and the whole system would basically grind to a halt.
So they're more than just like the cleanup crew.
Right.
He also calls them ecosystem engineers.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Well, it means they're not just cleaning up the mess, they're actually actively shaping and maintaining the balance of their environments.
Oh, okay.
So they're much more active than just breaking stuff down.
So they're like the architects and the construction workers
They are, yeah.
of these ecosystems.
Thanks, a good analogy.
It's amazing how these tiny creatures can have such a big impact.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
And this actually ties back to Lintner's book about microbes in agriculture.
Oh, okay, how so?
He talks about nitrogen-fixing bacteria
Okay.
being crucial for growing our food.
Right.
So essentially, they have this incredible ability to take nitrogen from the air,
Yeah.
which plants can't use directly,
Right.
and transform it into a form that plants can easily absorb.
So they're like a natural fertilizer factory?
Exactly.
Right.
They're enriching the soil and helping plants grow strong and healthy.
That's amazing.
So they're literally helping feed the world.
Literally.
Yeah.
They're unsung heroes.
And speaking of feeding, did you know we have a whole universe of bacteria living inside of us too?
Of course. The human microbiome.
The human microbiome.
Yeah,
And it's more vast than you might imagine.
it is.
Both Qureshi and this article, Why Studying the Microbiome Matters, talk about how the human microbiome contains a staggering 39 trillion microbial cells.
Wow, 39 trillion.
That's nearly twice the number of human cells in our bodies.
Hold on, so we're more microbe than human.
It really challenges our understanding of what it means to be an individual organism.
It really does. Yeah, I mean, it makes you think, doesn't it?
And it makes studying the microbiome even more important because it turns out that these microbes aren't just passengers.
Right. They're not just along for the ride.
They're actively impacting our health.
Yeah, they're impacting our health in so many ways.
And the article mentions that the gut microbiome, the bacteria living in our intestines, is especially important for digestion.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it also affects our immune system, which helps us fight off infections.
Right.
And even our mental health.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, and the more we learn about it, the more we realize how interconnected it is with our overall well-being. It's like this delicate ecosystem inside us that needs to be balanced. And that's where the concept of dysbiosis comes in.
Right. Dysbiosis. The article mentions that's basically an imbalance in the microbiome.
Yeah.
And it can lead to a whole host of health problems.
It's true. And it's a growing concern, especially with things like antibiotic resistance.
Antibiotic resistance. That's where bacteria become resistant to the drugs that we use to kill them.
Exactly.
So the antibiotics become less effective.
Right. And antibiotics have revolutionized medicine.
Right.
But overuse and misuse has led to this growing problem of antibiotic resistance. And it's a reminder that we need to be really careful and think about long-term consequences.
Yeah, so how do we fight harmful bacteria without creating these bigger problems down the road?
Right. It's a challenge.
It seems like a real challenge.
It is. But there's a lot of exciting research happening in this area. For example, scientists are exploring what's called phage therapy, which uses viruses called phages to target specific bacteria.
So like microscopic assassins.
Yeah, it's like a targeted strike force.
Going after the bad guys while leaving the good bacteria alone.
Exactly. It's much more precise.
Wow. The article also mentioned modulating the microbiome.
Yes.
But what does that even mean?
Well, modulating the microbiome basically means finding ways to adjust the balance of bacteria in our gut.
Okay.
And this could involve things like personalized probiotics, which are live bacteria that can help restore a healthy gut flora.
Right.
Or dietary changes that promote the growth of beneficial bacteria.
So it's like tending to a garden.
Yeah.
But the garden is inside of us.
Exactly.
You give the good bacteria what they need to thrive, and that helps keep the bad guys in check.
I like that analogy a lot.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But what about the legacy of Louis Pasteur? His discoveries in the 1800s seem a world away from all this talk about the microbiome.
Yeah, you're right. It might seem that way, but Pasteur's work really laid the foundation for our modern understanding of microbes and their role in health and disease.
And the book about him, Louis Pasteur, and the Hidden World of Microbes by Louise Robbins really describes his journey from these humble beginnings to becoming this scientific superstar.
He really was a superstar.
And his work with microorganisms, especially pasteurization and the rabies vaccine, continue to save countless lives today.
I mean, pasteurization is something we take for granted now, but it was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah. And the rabies vaccine.
Right, a disease that was once a death sentence.
Yeah.
She found a way to prevent it.
It's remarkable how his work back then connects to what we're learning now about the microbiome.
I think so too.
He was one of the first to really show that microbes could cause disease. And now we're discovering that these imbalances in our microbiome can also contribute to this wide range of illnesses.
Yeah, it really shows how scientific knowledge builds upon itself. Each discovery opens up new doors.
And speaking of opening doors, the field of microbiome research is exploding with new discoveries all the time.
It really is a hot area of research.
It feels like we're on the verge of this whole new era of medicine and health.
I think so too.
And the article highlighted this potential of microbiome research in biotechnology.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, microbes are like these microscopic factories that can be harnessed to produce all sorts of valuable things.
Like what kind of things?
Well, biomolecules like proteins and enzymes, antibiotics, even biofuels.
Yeah.
It's really quite amazing.
So harnessing the power of these tiny creatures to solve these big problems.
It's really innovative.
It's pretty amazing. And what's fascinating is that researchers are moving beyond just focusing on individual microbes.
Right.
Now they're looking at the entire microbial community.
Yeah.
And how it functions as a whole.
It's like shifting from a solo act to a symphony orchestra. Instead of one instrument, you have this whole ensemble working together
To create something incredible.
Exactly.
And with new tools like omics and systems biology,
Right.
we can analyze these complex interactions.
Yeah, in amazing detail.
It's like having this powerful magnifying glass that allows us to zoom in and see these intricate workings of this hidden world.
It's incredible what technology allows us to do.
And it's not just scientists and labs making these discoveries.
That's right.
The project, The Hidden World of Bacteria, highlighted how citizen scientists can contribute to this field.
Yeah, that was such a cool project.
It's a fantastic example of how anyone with the right guidance and tools can really participate
Right.
in uncovering the mysteries of the microbial world.
Absolutely.
And in Austria, there was this incredible project
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
where high school students helped isolate and describe new bacteria species from local waters.
It's amazing what they were able to do.
High school students making real scientific discoveries.
I know, it's really inspiring.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
And it shows that this kind of research isn't limited to
Right.
fancy labs and expensive equipment.
It's accessible to anyone.
We can all be microbe detectives,
Yeah.
exploring the world around us.
Exactly.
So we've talked about microbes as recyclers, engineers, and even these essential partners in our own health.
Right.
But it feels like we're just scratching the surface here.
We are just at the beginning of understanding this vast and complex microbial world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, what could the future hold for this field?
Yeah.
What new discoveries might be on the horizon, and how could they shape our lives?
It's so exciting to think about. One area that holds a lot of promise, I think, is personalized medicine that's tailored to an individual's unique microbiome.
So, like, instead of going to a doctor and getting a one-size-fits-all approach,
Right.
they would analyze your gut microbiome
Exactly.
and prescribe treatments specifically designed for you.
It's like having a customized health plan based on the trillions of tiny residents living in your gut.
So instead of just treating the symptoms, we could be addressing the root cause of some health problems.
Exactly. And it could extend beyond treatment to even prevention.
Okay.
Maybe in the future, we'll be able to identify potential health risks based on our microbiome and take steps to prevent those diseases from developing in the first place.
That would be incredible.
Yep.
And what about agriculture? It seems like understanding microbes could lead to some major changes there too.
Definitely. Imagine a world where farmers can harness the power of microbial communities
Okay.
to grow food more sustainably.
So instead of relying on chemical fertilizers and pesticides,
Right.
they could utilize beneficial microbes to enrich the soil, protect crops from pests,
Exactly.
and even increase yields.
It's like working with nature instead of against it.
And if we can produce more food using these eco-friendly methods, that could have a huge impact on global food security.
Absolutely. It could revolutionize the way we feed the world.
And beyond agriculture and medicine, the potential of microbes and biotechnology is just starting to be realized.
Yeah, it really is a frontier.
The article mentioned how microbes can be used as these tiny factories
Right.
to produce valuable substances.
Imagine that.
It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
I know.
Using microbes to make biofuels, bioplastics, even new drugs and enzymes.
The possibilities are really endless.
And as we get better at understanding and manipulating microbial communities,
Yeah.
we'll be able to engineer them to produce specific products more efficiently and sustainably.
It's like learning a new language, the language of microbes. And with that knowledge, we can start writing our own stories.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
I think so.
Collaborating with nature instead of trying to control it.
Yeah,
This whole deep dive has been incredible.
it has.
It's amazing to think how much we depend on these tiny, unseen organisms
Right.
for our health, our food, the health of our planet.
It's really humbling.
It truly is. And it's a reminder that we're still just at the beginning
Yeah, just scratching the surface.
of understanding this vast and complex microbial world. So who knows what incredible discoveries await us?
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting.
There's so much more to explore.
Right.
And these discoveries could have profound implications for our future. But for now, we've reached the end of our deep dive. Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the hidden world of microbes. We hope you enjoyed it.
And remember, there's a whole universe of life teeming right under our noses, waiting to be discovered.
Keep exploring. Keep learning.
And keep diving deep